On communities. Communities have fascinated me through my life, what they are and whether we live in communities. And it was only really when I started to teach anthropology that I came across some good definitions of what a community is. The most convenient one is by the German sociologist Tönnies, who wrote his most famous book was on community with a capital C and association. Gemeinschaft was the German for community, and Gesellschaft was the German for association. And he made the contrast as following. A community is a group of people who are united by birth, they are born in the same place, by geography, they live in a bounded area, by blood, they are mostly related through family because they've lived there for a long time, and by sentiment, we think of ourselves as the community of this village or whatever. And using those four criteria, you find powerful village communities in most of the great peasantries. You find them in India, you find them in China, you find them in parts of Africa. And so community, and Tönnies believed that was to be found all over Europe until he was writing in the later 19th century. And it contrasts absolutely with something, Gesellschaft or association, and that meant a relationship based on choice and contract, as Sir Henry Maine would put it, the opposition between blood and birth-based status communities and associational, contractual associations. It didn't mean an association in the sense of some modern organization, a football club, a football association, and so on. It meant people were united not through those birth, blood, and sentiment things, but through agreeing to live together peacefully. And so it's implicit contracts. Whenever you meet someone and you don't treat them as entirely foreign or aren't aggressive towards them, then there is an associational bond. There is a contract of certain kinds. Now, Tony's great message was that the later 19th century, particularly in his Germany and over Europe, was moving from community-based, blood-based entities which gave meaning to people's lives to a much more individualistic, amorphous, urban, industrial, associational culture. And in many ways, this was the great theme of 19th century sociology and is put in different ways by Tönnies, Weber, Marx, Durkheim, and so on. And it is a very important contrast. But what I discovered, and this was a great surprise in my life as I worked on an English village, which I thought when I started was a community. You were born and lived and died, and it fulfilled all the criteria of Tönnies. But this village, which we studied from 1380 to 1850, so right through the supposed change from community to association, it had always been associational. People had flowed through a territorial area, moving around rapidly and not attached by kinship and blood, but by it was a convenient place to live. So where I live now, a village in the Fens near Cambridge, is associational. It's not really a community. And later I discovered in the works of Maitland, the legal historian, that the British have never had village communities. It's something which, for some strange reason from the Germans onwards, have been absent. And so we have always lived in this country in an associational world. So the shattering effect of this across Europe in the 19th century and in India and elsewhere in the 20th has not been felt. It's been a continuity of associational, non-community-based living in this country, which is a great difference and very important in its implications.